Hi everyone, welcome back to the Black Flag Studio. Here Derek and I are going to talk about our Canadian Armed Forces, which you were a member
Yes,
of.
yeah.
When you're a veteran, are you still a member of the Armed Forces? Or is that?
Oh no, in a sense they can kind of consider that.
Okay.
But yeah, veterans, everyone would have a little bit of a different
Right,
status.
so we are talking about our Canadian Armed Forces and our Minister of Defense, Bill Blair, and as I said, Derek's was a member of the Canadian Armed Forces, or so you are speaking from experience. So go ahead and let's talk about it.
Well, it's basically Bill Blair, very silent, hasn't said very much since taking it over about 6 months.
Yeah, he has been pretty quiet.
It has been, yeah, it has been.
Even though
considering everything going on in the world, right?
Right.
You don't hear from him. Like obviously, it's like almost like Justin's talking on behalf of every department, but you don't hear much from him considering what's happening in the world. But really, the Canadian Armed Forces, besides the tampon issue, so thankfully
which
they're
is
being
funny, but
thankfully
kinda
they're
not
being
that funny.
thankfully they're being pulled out.
Not by authority, but by guys, or I assume mostly men, just taking them off the wall.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'd be even more concerned that they left them in or that they have that they were put in the first place. But
yeah,
you go back to November just passed. So normally the Department of National Defense they do basically year-end review just like every company, or an audit, for example. So it basically came up that we're not even fulfilling our existing obligations, that we can't even fulfill them now. And it's either lack of equipment, broken down equipment, too old equipment, no parts, no nothing.
And when you told me that before, and I said, "Oh, you mean your our fulfillments with NATO?" And you're saying, "No, completely across the board.
No, that's
here
correct.
in Canada,
Here in Canada,
NATO, UN, anything."
Well, you also got NORAD, you got NATO, you got UN, any UN missions. Although there's not any present, but there's normally staff that's there. The guys in Latvia had to buy their own boots, I believe. Some had to buy their own helmets and things like that. There's some that are living in a car.
Yeah, there's reports. I mean, they're
living
talking
in a
about
car.
this in committee meeting, that there's homeless veterans.
Oh, yeah.
Not veterans, sorry, but homeless working
Absolutely.
People in the forces, and they're basically living in their car or couch surfing or whatever.
Yeah.
And Bill Blair is saying nothing about that either.
No, hasn't mentioned a thing about it. Hasn't mentioned a thing about it. He didn't even come out really for clarification either. So we are involved in some of the Yemen attacks, but as it says, Canada's a part of the operation. But I think it just comes down to maybe 3 in the planning stages, and what they plan, we don't know. So Bill Blair hasn't even addressed that. I think 4 months ago they announced that we probably have a million rounds of ammunition.
I can't conceive of what that possibly.
Well, a million rounds of ammunition is not really that much.
It would be much.
It doesn't seem to be that much.
Okay, don't shoot that bullet.
Yeah,
a
million can go pretty fast.
Yeah, I would think so.
So we assume that in November, when they had that report of broken down equipment, non-serviceable, too old, no parts, we got to assume everything that we had that's working is in Ukraine. So what do we have here? And Bill Blair hasn't even answered that. What do we have functionally here? And I'm sure there is, but what is it?
Yeah.
And what's the plans?
I heard recently, I don't know if it was in a committee meeting or where it was, but they're saying even if they had the equipment, they don't have the staff, like they don't have the people. They don't have.
Well, actually, we have fighter jets. We just don't have enough pilots to fly the fighter jets. So that's basically.
We might have a ship or two, but we don't have sailors. We don't have Navy people.
Yeah, no. Okay. Our training's lacking, obviously. I think a lot of our pilots, we basically have to be trained in the States, really. Mm. So they'd go down to the States to get their training.
So, who was I talking? Oh, I guess I was talking to Harrison Faulkner, because he was saying that he was going to, he may have already done it, an interview with somebody who, talking about the Arctic and how it's really open. Like there's no defense in our Arctic.
Well, I know this goes all the way back, Stephen Harper brought that up the first year that he was elected. Actually, when he was being elected, that was on his platform, that he's going to protect Arctic sovereignty. Because at that time, obviously, Russia was making a play. Now, we don't have Again, we'll rely on the Russians and the British for submarine patrol of the Arctic. We don't have one. But obviously, the Arctic is, if Putin would say, oh, no, it's mine, because we're actually connected over top of the North Pole. Now, do we even know he could even be there? We don't know. We don't have any reports. He may claim that it is. Now, at that time, there is oil reserves up there, right? So at that time it was important for Harper, but at the same time, I don't know if you remember that Russia was making flyovers. They were testing basically NORAD, how far they can get over. So there was a lot of play there. That's kind of subdued a little bit. Maybe just south of the Arctic, we've allowed Chinese troops for winter training. We know of the one time that was leaked, actually. And Rebel was the one, I think, believe that picked that up. But we don't know if that's been done before. Trudeau says it hasn't. It could have been.
So why do you think they're letting our armed forces, our defense system, fall apart?
Because they're spending the money everywhere else. Really, they're just spending the money everywhere else.
They're not concerned with our own defense, considering the volatility of the world right now.
Of course, well, they should be. I don't think. How many? Oh, we'd have to go back decades before we were doing the 2% for NATO, which is 2% of the GDP should be spent. So of course Donald brought that up.
Trump by Donald.
He brought that up.
Donald's his best friend.
Yeah, he brought that up. We haven't done that. But if you go, every time we try to spend money on defense, it becomes an election issue, right? So Harper wanted to improve the Air Force. Justin said, no, we aren't buying those jets. We're not buying those jets. I don't want to buy those jets. So he made it a political issue. Chrétien did the same thing. All this was always needed to be done. Liberals always make a thing of it. We needed some. Justin bought used ones off of Australia. And now he says, we need them. So now he says we need them. But they've always made it an election issue. The money was never spent. And you look, like we only have a population. We're 40 million people, right? U.S. is 300 million people, 400 million people. The tax money, all that money to go. But if we're spending all our money on frivolous things, like right now, technically we're broke, really, right? Our debt level is higher than our GDP. So where's this money going to come from? Right? And now we obviously have problems with recruitment. I don't even think some of them can even be properly uniformed even when they join. I don't even think we even have the uniforms for them.
Say making it a platform, an election.
Yeah.
Dangling this in front of people with their election. I think that I have changed my position somewhat, and in the way that I grew up and I thought, I'd really like to see a world that doesn't need a defense system, we don't have wars, and and I would have probably voted to not have our military built up, naively, and certainly very naively, but I do think I do understand that humankind hasn't come to that point that we don't have wars, because here it is. The reality is we have wars. Yeah. So if as a country we don't have an ability to defend ourselves, and we over these years we've counted on the U.S. to protect us. But I don't, they're breaking down too. Yeah. So.
Well, they're breaking down, and what's the relationship like?
And the relationship isn't so great.
Mulroney had probably the best was Mulroney and Reagan were probably the most in tune with each other. What Trump comes in with everything that Justin's doing, and Justin, we're looking for concessions on North American defense. What's Trump going to say? Right?
Yeah, if Canada doesn't pay their 2%, Trump might just come for a visit.
Yeah. He's going to come for a visit.
It won't be
I
a
can guarantee
good one.
that.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to be a good one.
So maybe we'll take a trip out to Bill Blair's office and have a little chat over there, and a little tyrant patrol over at Bill Blair's office.
Yeah.
So he knows that we haven't gone away. We're still here.
No.
We may be in a studio, but we're still tyrant patrollers.
Absolutely. And
should we do that?
Yeah, we'll try to find him. Anyone sees him, let us know.
All right. Bye, everybody. Okay, so we made it to Bill Blair's office here on the edge of Scarborough, and his office is a mess. I just want to show you this mess. This is our money. I don't know if you can see that really, but I don't know what the heck that's all on the window. You know, it's just a mess. That's inside his office.
I don't think
I don't know.
anyone's been in there for quite some time.
Yeah.
But they do come in to water the plants in this place.
What's that?
They do come in to water the plants.
Yeah, they do. Unlike I said, Mark Holland's office, when we went there, his office, his plants were just dead as a doornail. All right, so here we are.
Yeah.
Hang on, I gotta find it so that I'm not having the sun blaring in my face so I can actually see you. Okay. Bill Blair's office. So Bill Blair, as we all know, is our Minister of Defense. And so he's been a little bit more active lately. He's been talking about stuff.
Well, he has.
So
He's been spending our money.
Oh, spending our money.
Yeah,
Okay,
spending our money.
Yeah.
By giving it away. So
Yeah.
I guess $100 million has been spent to a company called Teledyne, and they're in Waterloo. So
Oh.
Waterloo's a very red area. That's all Liberal. But Teledyne makes drones. Now he's bought these drones. They aren't even going to see Canada. They're going directly over to Ukraine. So you're talking a little bit over 120,000 a drone. Now these aren't combat drones. These are surveillance drones, and they also can carry some supplies. So these drones are going over. How long they will last?
So they must be huge.
They're big. They're
like
big.
how big would they be? Like a car?
Well, I
have no
I
idea.
would say they would cover. They would cover a small car's hood.
Okay.
That's how big those
Okay.
ones are.
Interesting. All right.
But now they have it. With drones, it's all altitude and the equipment on it for surveillance, obviously. So these will probably be able to go pretty high. How long they'll last over Ukraine, who knows? How many will be shot down right away? Now, the other thing too, so you know about how pitiful our Air Force is. He's also sent over basically all what we have for parts and supplies for F-16s. So we have F-16s, but Ukraine are using F-16s. So he's basically given them all our stock. Now they have finally gone ahead to purchase the F-34s. Now Harper wanted to buy these, and the Liberals said, "Oh no, we don't, we can't spend that much money." They made a political issue of it, of course. So then over that period of saying no to them, they went and bought used jets from Australia. I don't think they worked very well, but we still have more functioning aircraft than we have pilots. So that shows you how desperate our military is.
Okay. You know, but while we're here, I'm just going to give you the camera, and not that I've got a whole lot to say, but just because we happen to be here, and I like to point out the fact that Bill Blair's office, our Liberal MP here in Scarborough, who is also our defense minister, is like a door away, or whatever, two doors down from, you take it from there.
I'll take it.
And you can watch me go there. And so we're like two doors, well, here's Bill Blair's office, here's this pizza place.
Wild Orange Pizza.
We have this is something that caught my eye last time.
Yeah.
So we have this Feed Scarborough. We can stand out here this time because last time they
wouldn't let
us
us.
away. They didn't like us.
Yeah.
So look at this. If you are LGBTQ2+, Black, Brown, Asian, Aboriginal, any race, coming out, anything.
And I don't understand that. Am I to read that the coloring of the letter means something?
It's a safe place,
Yeah.
and we will always hold space for you. So all of these people, and then any race. So I guess we're allowed. But anyway, I thought it was quite bizarre.
So this is kind of weird too. Welcoming, diverse, non-judgmental, transparent.
Yeah.
Be accountable, be innovative.
Yeah.
Bring systematic change. Good food is a human right. Okay.
Programs started. So I guess these are their. I suppose these are their the people that help.
Yeah.
Their program. Startup Scarborough, healthy meals, food pantries, mobile farmers market, community gardens, policy and research. I don't know what that's all about, but there you go. We just like to point out the fact that Bill Blair's got this food bank just like, you know, steps away from his office.
But does it matter what you are if you're hungry and starving?
I don't know. Apparently, I just
because
don't
they've got these symbols down here on the bottom too. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Right. No, I didn't
Yeah,
notice
they've got the special symbols.
Okay.
So does that mean if you don't agree with those symbols, you can't eat? Here, anyway.
I don't know. I think it's all really nuts. But there you go. So Bill Blair, and he's got that. So I just want to point that out.
Okay. Good food is a human right. I think it says here, good food is a human right.
Oh, good food.
No, Justin and them. What was that dinner that they spent in Ottawa? $50,000, right, for the 12 of them.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So, we should ask for that $50,000 back because good food's a human right. So
Maybe
they should not have charged them for that food or something. I don't know.
And who was it?
Yeah.
Lawrence McCulley, the guy from PEI, gobbling up lobster.
Yeah.
In Malaysia.
Exactly. I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Vacations and good food. That's what the Liberals are all about. Meanwhile, people have to use this. And now this place is kind of segmenting off a food bank.
It's
So,
sad.
It is sad.
I'll take that
I'll give
off
you the
of
camera back.
and we'll get back to you. All right. Well, thanks everybody. So
Freedom.
freedom, and by all means, give Bill Blair a call. I don't know. I don't think he'll answer because we've never seen anybody. We've been here a few times,
We've been here
and there's never been anyone in the office.
My biggest
But here's
problem
his-
with Bill Blair
Yeah.
is he took an oath to uphold the law because he was police chief of
Toronto. Mhm.
Now, because he's police chief, he took that oath, and that oath is for life. And he belongs to the biggest crime syndicate in Canada right now, which is the Liberal Party. And it is the biggest crime syndicate. You go back into Canadian history, you talk about all those billions that they've stolen with the RiveCan app, withholding evidence for SNC Lavalin. There's never been a mafia family, never been anything that's even came close to what the Liberals have done in 8 years. So he's gone from the police chief of Toronto to being a member of the biggest crime syndicate, in Canada's history, maybe even the world's history. So,
Well, there's a good one to stop on. Okay, everyone, I just stopped that accidentally. So I just wanted to actually to say,
So,
where are we?
freedom.
I can't even see us.
Oh yeah, you can see us.
Can you
The
see
sun
us?
is really bright. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, freedom, everybody.
Freedom.
I don't know if I got you in the picture.
Oh, maybe you can get those.
Oh, there, freedom.
Maybe show what's happening up here in the sky.
I don't know if they'll see that. That's really
they
hard
see
to
that?
see. Yeah. Anyway, freedom, everybody.
They're all going different directions on us.
Freedom.
Freedom.